how the rich avoiding paying taxes.
One of the richest people in the world, thanks to the company he runs, Berkshire Hathaway. Basically, it's a holding company that just owns a bunch of other companies, Geico, Dairy Queen, a huge railroad, as well as a lot of stock in other companies like Apple and Coca-Cola. So when those companies do well and their stock goes up, Berkshire Hathaway stock goes up. When Buffett took over the company in 1965, a single share was worth $19. Today, it's worth nearly $500,000. Buffett owns nearly 240,000 of these shares. This is where his wealth is. But as he's been known for pointing out, Warren Buffett still pays a lower tax rate than his secretary.
She pays twice the rate I pay. I think that's outrageous.
That's because they pay different types of taxes. His secretary pays income taxes on her salary, but Buffett mainly pays capital gains taxes on his sold stock, and that's taxed at nearly half the rate.
The wealthy are definitely undertaxed.
In the US, the disparity between the richest Americans and everyone else has been growing. And in the last 40 years, the after-tax income of the richest has risen more than 400%, while middle-class income has only risen 50%. The way these people make money is very different than the way these people make money. And they're not taxed the same.
I pay less in taxes than people that work for a living and make as much money as I do.
This is Morris. He used to work on Wall Street. Now he's retired and lives off his many stock market
He's a
investments.
millionaire, okay.
I own stock in companies.
Only? Yeah, they had a bunch of billionaires in there, and they invited a millionaire to talk about
Berkshire
this.
Hathaway and Amazon and Apple.
He's a pretty typical one-percenter, except that he spends his money advocating for rich people like him to be taxed more.
I want to live in a country filled with a middle class of people who can all afford to shop in our businesses.
Most people have a normal job. They get a
Have
paycheck
income.
and pay income tax, ranging from 10 to 37%. But people like Morris, they make a lot of their income from investments.
Yeah, so having
generally
money makes more
stocks
money.
and real estate. These investments are taxed as capital gains, and things like long-term stock have a maximum tax rate of just 20%.
I sold some stock recently for $400,000, and my taxes on that have around $50,000. But that $50,000 is far less tax than anyone who has a job making $400,000 a year would pay.
And most of his wealth, well, isn't even taxable. People like
Jesus.
Morris or
God,
Buffett.
Guys, that's not tax evading. That's just, guys, what is wrong with you? Guys, that's not a way to avoid taxes. Because the income that you made to buy investment was already taxed in the first place. What they're saying is that if you put that money into stocks and you make money with those stocks on the way out, you won't be taxed as much as if you made that money through labor or whatnot. That amount of money you made to the stock passively going up is taxed way less.
Are worth so much money because of the
Even though the people that work these companies, that do the labor, that probably do increase the stock, pay much more taxes than you make when they do good or whatever.
stock that they
Or
hold.
when the market does good overall.
But it's not tangible,
Right?
spendable, taxable money.
I can look at
Kind
my
of.
stock portfolio and I can say, oh, I made $1 million this year, but it doesn't have to pay anything in taxes because our system is based on only paying taxes when you actually sell something.
Amazon's Jeff Bezos, the richest man in America thanks mostly to his Amazon stock, pays almost nothing in taxes.
Oh, why not?
We value his worth here, but it's never taxed unless it's turned
Oh,
into
'cause
real
he's not
money
selling
when he
it.
sells the stock, and it's taxed as a capital gain. This is one way billionaires are able to be technically worth so much money, but pay so little in taxes. Some billionaires like Elon Musk are able to get loans against their stocks and live off of that. They don't even need to sell the stock to turn it into
Yeah.
spendable money. No sale, no taxes.
The fact is, if you're a billionaire,
Wait. I guess I have a question though. Because if they hoard all the stocks, whatever, right? They can use that stock to gain stuff or whatever. That's pretty much what they're doing, right? and they never sell it. So it's like, oh yeah, but it doesn't matter because one day they'll sell it, right? And that money will come back into circulation because they sold it and it's gonna go into taxes. But then they never sell. So then what? What if they literally actually never sell?
Millionaire, you don't need any income.
There's also a big loophole in capital gains taxes that the rich exploit called the stepped-up basis. If, hypothetically, Warren Buffett were to sell his stock, he'd have to pay capital gains taxes based on his profit, so the cost of the stock minus the original investment. But if he holds off selling his entire life, when he dies, whoever inherits the stock and then sells it would only have to pay taxes on what they earned after they inherited it, leaving all those original gains untaxed. It's part of what's called buy, borrow, die, and it's one way the richest families avoid paying taxes. It's this system and the fact that most taxable capital gains are going to the top 1% that lawmakers see changing the capital gains tax as an easy way to tax the rich. President Biden has proposed closing that stepped-up loophole and increasing the maximum tax rate from 20% to 39.6%, but just for people making more than $1 million a year. Critics argue that it may discourage people from investing in the stock market, or that current millionaires would just sell less stock. But it would bring in more tax revenue, from more conservative estimates of $200 billion over 10 years to double that. It would also mean Buffett would pay a closer tax rate to his secretary. But this pile of unrealized...
Hold up. Guys, this is kind of interesting. I guess... Maximum?
Loophole, and increasing the maximum tax rate from 20% to 39.6%, but just for people making more than $1 million a year. Critics argue that it may discourage people from investing in the stock market, or that current millionaires would just sell less stock. But it would bring in more tax revenue, from more conservative estimates of $200 billion over 10 years to double that. It would also mean Buffett would pay a closer tax rate to his secretary.
I don't have crypto.
But this pile of unrealized money still goes untaxed.
There's a lot of things we could do to make the system more fair. We could have taxes on wealth. We could have taxes on gains in the stock market.
I don't have stock.
Most Americans are bothered that wealthy people don't pay their fair share.
But crypto is taxed. Yeah? Oh yeah, it is, yeah. Crypto is taxed when you sell it.
And changing capital gains taxes wouldn't be the whole solution, but advocates argue it would be an easy place to start.
Our system is making the rich get richer and richer and richer, and everyone else just not.
And he's selling? I don't see you selling here, did it?
Hi, Felix.
That was interesting. Guys, what would I lie about this, you guys? I don't need stock, guys. If I had some, it'd be kind of like an interesting discussion, but I have none. I'm boring, I guess. Low W.